A con-based episode. Might be fun. Maybe I'll learn something that might be handy if I want to visit any con in the future. I don't wanna go to BronyCon! Okay, I was joking right there, because I'm sure that craziness like that are not present at BronyCon, right? Right? Anyway, this here is a really great entry, not just as a first episode after hiatus, but an MLP episode overall. I just can't imagine how come someone can seriously dislike or hate this episode as a whole. I don't know, maybe if you overdose the female hormones or something. I mean, how come someone can be so negative watching such a delightful picture of Rainbow Dash being an adorable nerdy fangirl, enjoying her time with Quibble Pants, who is as nerdy as she is. I swear, that's gonna be my face if I'll be lucky enough to go to BronyCon. And the whole con setup, all the details are great. If only I knew what I'm talking about. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to review the episode. Anyway, the chemistry between those two is just so great, I immediately knew it's even more fuel for shippers. They both were getting along so well, until Quibble dropped his famous line.
That I refuse to acknowledge them.
This guy is like me with Arcania Gothic 4. Or, when looking at the bigger picture, he's like some of the Starlight Glimmer haters, but that's beyond the point. The point is, for me personally, their argument kinda reminds me the difference between fan, who like a franchise overall but had his likes and dislikes, and fanboy, who, no matter how bad the franchise is getting off track, will still be praising it. It's not directly referenced here, and I might be the only one who sees this scene that way. But that's maybe an overthinking, because otherwise it would imply that this episode is subtle. It's not. Usually we have to read the message in between the lines or look for references, but here the message and the references are pretty much thrown into our faces. The message, the setup, everything. And that's actually good, because here it was done really good. Even though I have no con experience, I really like the setup. Except for that body pillow. Seriously, how come it passed the censors? And another great part of this episode? Quibble Pants. In all his annoyingness, he's just amazing. Patton Oswalt done an awesome job voicing his character. He finally might have something to talk with his daughter. Quibble is just so convincing as a nitpicking fan, refusing to acknowledge certain aspects of the franchise while also loving it. I know I used one example, but I bet that there are Whovians who dislike a new series and only accept the old one. Or Star Wars fans, for which the prequels and The Force Awakens doesn't exist. With Bronies, that might be the case with, say, episodes from before Lauren Faust's departure or before Magical Mystery Cure. And I also think that it's great when sometimes the episode serves as the message on a silver platter. Of course, it actually needs to be done correctly, the right writing, the right setup, the right everything, but it's actually done here. The whole Daring Do convention, being also an undercover adventure for Daring Do herself, which led us to the moral, was pretty much an obvious but best pick for giving us the message what's great in fandoms in general. Because if everyone would always have exactly the same opinion on everything, it would be boring. The moral itself is also a nice follow-up to the moral from previous episode. In fact, in their core, both are very similar and talk about that it's good to have your own opinion, even if it's different from the others. Here, we're talking about having a different opinion, but also to respect other opinions, even if we disagree with them. In fact, when writing this script, I had a discussion why Newbie Dash is a terrible episode with someone who actually liked this episode. But because it was a text discussion, I was trying to do everything to express my opinion, but also make it not sound like I'm hostile towards that person. In the end, we didn't change our minds, but we had such long discussion that most Brony analysts would cut half of it from their collab script. And it was a great discussion. I pretty much don't have anything negative to say about this episode, because there isn't anything particularly bad in it. It actually mostly nitpicks, like the body pillow or annoyingness of Quibble, which actually is good to see him that way, because he's written that way. However, my personal nitpick is the fact that, when thinking about it, only part of the episode is happening during convention, and the other part is the Daring Do adventure. And I think that Even if it's necessary, it could be done a little bit better. Not because Quibble is constantly thinking that this is one of those advertised trip and nitpicking about generic not-so setup and bad not-so actors. It's mostly about being too convenient that Caballero actually kidnapped these two, not even knowing that they might be associated with Daring Do. But like I said, there isn't much to say negative about this episode, it's just straight up great. One of the best episodes this season. And also a nice love letter to fandoms overall and con-goers. Pretty much everyone who have any experience with that agree that this here is well presented. And Quibble as the embodiment of nitpicking fans is also well done. I love this guy. Okay, you might dislike him, but like I said, he is the character that we should love to hate. Personally, I'm glad that instead of changing his mind, he admitted he still likes the old series because he likes puzzles more than adventures. It's a nice contrast to Zephyr Breeze and his reformation. The moral and how it's served is another good thing about this episode. Let's just say it. Pretty much everything negative someone can say about that, it's just a nitpick. A solid piece of work, a great start into the rest of the season. An episode worth viewing maybe a few times to see all the small references. Definitely great episode. I'm Shapwit, and please no more shipping this season. Thanks for watching.